The deeper dive now into dramatic events overnight out of southern Ukraine. As we mentioned, those Russian forces seizing control of Ukraine's and Europe's largest nuclear power plant. President Zelensky warning of a potential nuclear disaster.
And also, 1 million refugees have fled into neighboring countries, with many civilians staying to fight. I'm going to bring in now from Ukraine, ABC Chief National Correspondent Matt Gutman, who's been doing some outstanding reporting for us for the past week or so. Matt, good to have you here. And let's talk about that nuclear plant. It was on fire. I believe the fire is out, but give us an update about that situation.
TJ, I was up at 2:30 in the morning when this first happened. I couldn't believe my eyes. It is possibly the most frightening thing that could happen in this war. Apparently, Russians shelling that nuclear power station in Zaporizhia. That's in the east of the country. Now, it's got 6 reactors. That's why President Zelensky is saying this could be 6 Chernobyls. Now, they got the fire out. The fighting there has subsided. We are told that there has been no radiation leaked, but you can imagine the terror that has caused, not just in this country, but in this region. This is the biggest nuclear power plant in all of Europe. That's why the embassy in Kiev has said that this is a war crime. That's why Zelensky is now demanding a no-fly zone over Ukraine. Everybody is incredibly concerned about this. And remember, the Russians also have control over the Chernobyl site, what's left of it in the north of the country. Now they had this nuclear power plant in the east. This is very concerning. Zelensky saying there is no way that the Russians did not know that this was a massive nuclear power plant that they were attacking. TJ, Amy?
Yeah, no, and Matt, we also heard from Zelensky, President Zelensky, saying they don't know how much more they can hold off the Russians. What are you seeing there on the ground in terms of Ukrainians still defending themselves from the Russians?
I mean, you could see President Zelensky's face yesterday, Amy. The guy is haggard. He is exhausted. The country is tired. We're talking about those 1 million refugees fleeing. But there was a tremendous amount of fortitude here among these civil defense units that we've seen in the streets. We talked to a kindergarten administrator today who was learning how to administer first aid for combat trauma, people who are shot or blown up. So people are coming together. They're trying to get a hold of any weapon they can, from AK-47s to Molotov cocktails to old Soviet mines to use against Russian tanks. They say they can hold out for a while, but what they need really is significant weaponry. And what President Zelensky is saying he needs is this aerial cover from a no-fly zone. But you mentioned, these civil defense groups. This is an insurgency that they're preparing. Even if they are invaded, they are going to continue to fight. All these people from everyday walks of life are transforming themselves into a militia. It is something that is astonishing to see, especially how quickly it has happened, basically over 8-9 days.
Matt, folks are staying to fight. You talk about the insurgency, but a lot of folks have to get out of there. At least 1 million folks have fled. 500,000 of them, according to UNICEF, have been kids. You've been talking to them. What are you hearing? Where are they going?
Just so much trauma, TJ. You know, you're a dad, you know what it's like. Everybody tries to shield their kids from the pain and suffering, but it's really hard when you're on a trip for 40 hours just to get to the border, and then you've got to wait to get across. People are trying to do everything they can to protect their children. That's why we've seen 1 million people get out. But they're also going into uncertainty, right? They're just taking a backpack or a stroller with some stuff in it, the changing pack if they have it. Diapers and documents is what people are saying. And they're going into a world of uncertainty. It has been incredibly painful personally to watch all of this unfold, and you just see it in the faces. Every one of these refugees has a story. And one thing that I will never forget is seeing this. She was probably 4 or 5 years old, little girl on the train platform, screaming hysterically, crying, hugging her stuffed animal, her mom holding her hand, just curling herself over her, both of them weeping uncontrollably. They never got a chance to say goodbye to the husband, to the father. And this is happening thousands and thousands of times over and over again.
Yeah, no, I have been following, Matt, your documentation of all of that, even on Instagram. It's just so powerful and so painful. And there are also stories of discrimination as well in terms of getting out of Ukraine.
We definitely heard many allegations of discrimination, particularly people from Africa, the Middle East, South Asia. They were saying that they were not allowed to board the trains to the border and to Poland in the same way that people from North America or European countries, foreigners, were allowed out. Now, remember, 18 to 60, you're not allowed out of the country if you are Ukrainian, and guards were physically blocking men from going on. That seems to have changed. It's a much more streamlined process now. Instead of a 40-hour wait at the border, we're hearing of a 2-hour wait. I think they've managed to smooth that out, and certainly Ukrainian and Polish border officials are much more sensitive to that at this point, Amy.
All right, Matt Gutman, incredible reporting there. Stay safe, and thank you so much for all that you've contributed to just learning and feeling what so many people are going through, millions of people. So we appreciate all of your reporting, Matt. Thank you.
Well, hey there, GMA fans. Robin Roberts here. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Lots of great stuff here. So go on, click the subscribe button right over here to get more of awesome videos and content from GMA every day, anytime. We thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the morning on GMA.